What's up, family? This is Pastor Devin. Listen, we are on the brink of celebrating a decade in ministry. Shout out to Redemption Church for rocking for 10 years. Everybody who helped establish this and perpetuate this, concretize this, all the above. Shout out to all of y'all. There is no way we get here without the idea of teamwork and the dedication to this assignment that God has given us. So shout out to our team. But I want to talk about today, to mark this 10 years, I want to deal with 10 things that I've learned in 10 years. I'll share with you the 10 things, the top 10 things that I've learned in 10 years. I will try my best not to elaborate, super elaborate or over elaborate on all these things. I want to give you 10 things. And then I'll kind of get out of your way. And hopefully this that we've learned or that I've learned in these 10 years will help further you and push you along. Hopefully there are tidbits that you can use, not necessarily in ministry, but absolutely in ministry, but I think in your life, period. So I want to give you the top 10 things that I've learned in 10 years. The top 10 things that I've learned in 10 years. Number one, you've heard me say this before, so I'll say it again. Support would be nice, but support is not needed. As you know, we started with no money, no members, no momentum, and no mentorship. That is to say that we did not have much, but what we did have was a mandate from God. We did not have much, but we did have a mandate from God. What is a mandate? Jesus says it this way: the Spirit of the Lord is upon me, and he has anointed me to proclaim the good news to the poor. He has sent me to proclaim liberty to the captives and recovering of the sight to the blind, to set at liberty those who have been oppressed. Although we did not have much, what we did have was a mandate. God has anointed me for the ministry of redemption, which is to say that everything that I thought I might need to get started, I absolutely do not need. All I need, God has already given me. Everything you need to get started, God has already given you. And so you hear me, although you may not have much, you're all you need. Although you may not have much, you are all that you need. Everything that you need is already laid in front of you. If you would just understand that your mandate is to go. I understood the mandate. I understood the mission. And what I discovered is that my mandate, the anointing that God has given me was to establish this ministry called Redemption, that I am, although I didn't have much, I am the answer to somebody else's need. That blessed me right there. I am the answer to somebody else's need. I am the answer to somebody else's prayer. And while I'm looking for support for somebody else, somebody is looking for me to be that level of support for them. I had a mandate. Didn't have much. We didn't have money. Didn't have momentum. Didn't have members. Didn't have mentorship. But I had a mandate. And that mandate was to go and to do the ministry of Redemption Church. Number two, what I learned is this thing that I call the process, or the principle of process. I've learned, number two, the principle of process. So the premise is this: God gave me this vision that I believed in. He gave me this promise and a vision. People made me promises to be a part of the vision. And what I discovered while focusing on the people and the promise was that what I did not have was a solid process. If people came, did I have the process or the infrastructure to support the promise that God gave me? I had a promise, but I was not prepared. And so what I began to understand is that I should not focus on people, nor should I focus on promise. I focused on the process. Do you have your processes and procedures in order to support the thing that you're believing God to do? If he sends you 1,000 people right now, do you have the infrastructure to support that? If God sends you the vision that he gives you right now, the thing that you imagine him to do and you believe him to do, Do you have what it takes to support it? Are you prepared for overflow? Are you prepared for if the floodgates were to open? We had a promise. There were some people who came, but we did not have a process. We did not establish the infrastructure. And that is so important, because if you're going to sustain what God has given, you got to have the infrastructure that supports that. A lot of us want God to do, but we're not prepared when he does. Get you a process. Number 3, defining roles. That is so critical. Defining roles. Defining roles and responsibility drives team productivity, because everybody needs to know what's expected from them. When roles are defined, people know what they're doing and they understand that their responsibility fits into the bigger goal of the entire team. They're more likely to take ownership of the ministry when they take ownership of their role. One of the things that I did not do in the early years is I understood that my wife was the first lady, but I didn't quite define her role. What was she expected to do? What did people expect from her? So if she were to walk in particular rooms, did she automatically have a dominion in that space? Was she automatically assume some level of leadership? Because we didn't define it, people didn't know. And once I defined who and what she was and what my expectations for her to do, she began to flow. And she didn't just take off as a first lady. She became the coldest executive pastor in the Memphis and Mid-South region. You hear me? I don't know another executive pastor that's as cold as Pastor Sam. But she didn't get to that place until I properly defined her role. Make sure that you define your people's roles and their responsibility. Top 10 things that I've learned in 10 years. Number 4, it is your job. Leaders, hear me. It is your job. This is what I call the LeBron Rule. I understand that this sport, this thing that we're in, is a team game, but there are times in this team game that the leader has to be the leader. I understand that it is my job. It is my job sometimes to take the shot. I understand it's a team game and sometimes you make the right play, but then there is a time, man, where it is your job to take the shot. There are times that you absolutely do not delegate. And the problem that I had in the earlier years is that I was trying to overshare because I wanted everybody to feel a bit of ownership. I was beginning to overshare. And then there were some moments that was not meant to be shared. There were some moments where I had to take the shot because it's my job. God gave me this mission. God gave me this assignment. And it was my job to take the shot. It's my job to take the shot. Some things I cannot delegate. Some things I cannot share. Every now and again, there is a call, a decision that needs to be made, and that call or that decision needs to come from me. Leader, hear me. There are moments, this is a team game. There are moments that you need to make the call. You need to make the decision. You need to take the shot. Top 10 things I've learned in 10 years. We're already at it. Number 5, redefine success. Redefine success. Around about year 5 of our ministry, we started to see some real growth. We started to see some level of success. Some of the things that we had believed God to see, we were beginning to see it. And while we were beginning to see what I thought I wanted to see, I didn't feel like I thought I would feel when I saw it. Matter of fact, I remember that God gave me this vision to share some of the things that had been working for us. And I thought to myself that I'll share that when I get a building because that'll help people better believe. I thought that when I got a building, then I'll do what God had called me to do. And what I had to do was redefine success. Was success for me find a building that gives me credibility? Did that say all that we have been doing for a number of years was more substantial because I had a building? I had to redefine success because the mistake that I was making is that I adopted a general definition of my goal when their goal was not necessarily my goal. The world defines what winning is, and I bought into that. And when I began to see some level of success in that, it didn't feel the way I thought it was going to feel. So I had to redefine success. What is success for you? Success for you is a relative term. What is success for you? Yeah. Winning on what level? What does that look like for you? What does it mean to have some level of success? What is some goal that you have set that makes sense for your context, your people, your vision, your assignment? We can't always take what the world says or the general definition of success. In order for you to win in your game, you have to redefine what success looks like. I had to redefine it. And once I began to redefine what success was, then I could flow in that. Yeah. Redefine success for yourself. It is no one else's job to tell you what's winning and what's losing. That's according to your context, your goals, your mission, your assignment. Redefine success. Number 6, release in order to receive. Release in order to receive. In other words, hear me when I say this, give it away. Give it away. Here is the secret to success. Here's the secret to success. Put this in your notes. The secret to success is that it should not be a secret. That's cold-blooded. The secret to success is that it should not be a secret. God gives seed to those who sow. God gives seed to those who sow. So everything that was beginning to work for us, the more I release it, the more God allowed me to receive. It's not mine to keep. It's not yours to keep. There should be no secret if you're succeeding. Share with someone else what you did to succeed or what you did to be effective, what you did to accomplish your said assignment. Yeah, I don't understand why we withhold information. I don't really get that. And I think in the context in which we started our ministry, man, people were not sharing. There was no information that was flowing. There was no mentorship. We talked about that earlier. There was no mentorship. There was nobody giving us the game. There was nobody pulling me aside. Hey, young pastor, let me show you something. That wasn't happening. And so part of my assignment was to provide something different. I'm not saying that I know it all, but one thing about me is I'm willing to share all that I do know. Because I believe that there is something about releasing in order that you might receive. There should be no secret in this. There's another young pastor, there's another young entrepreneur, another young parent, another young father, husband, mother. Man, find somebody who look like you and give them what you learn. People should not have to struggle for information when you have it. And I don't know why we think that we should win and keep it a secret. No, share it. Share it. Help somebody else win, because God will give you more victories for those of us who sow. He gives seeds to the sower. Release in order that you might receive. Top 10 things that I've learned in 10 years. We moving. Number 7, lose well. Lose well. What does that mean? A decade doing anything will not always be marked with wins. There will be some losses. A decade doing anything, man, you're not going to win at everything. There will be some losses, but how you handle those losses can dictate the level in which you win. What is your philosophy in the loss? What is your perspective of the loss? Can you identify positives even within that loss? Is it a loss or is it a lesson? I've learned to lose well. A quick story. A few years ago, when when God finally gave us a building. We got a building on a Friday night. We painted and just doped out the sanctuary in one night. I'm talking about we killed it. We went and got all of our equipment and dropped it Saturday, sound check, got ready for Sunday. And Sunday we had service. Service was really good. By Tuesday, we lost the building to a fire. We got it Friday. By Tuesday, we lost it. And the day it burned, that building burned down, I was standing on the parking lot and I was having a conversation with my wife on the phone. And she was trying to get me to tell her everything that was happening. And I was like, babe, what more you want me to tell you? The building is on fire. I'm telling you, this is the God's honest truth. While I was looking at that church burn down, that was not a sad moment that I had. I'm telling you, I tried to be honest and grieve. I tried to be transparent and kind of grieve. I tried to be open to the grieving process, but I wasn't grieving. Because in that moment, what I saw was a positive. Like, God, if it be this to get to the next level, so be it. So in that parking lot, in my mind, this was a burnt sacrifice. Listen, it was arson, and it was proven that I didn't do it. I didn't have a dog in that fight. We hadn't even switched over our insurance, so I didn't get no money for that. Yeah, this wasn't gonna help me. Not in that right. So, but on that parking lot, man, I watched that church burn down, and on that parking lot, watching that fire, I began to visualize the next victory. I'm trying to tell you. And then God so cold-blooded, he came back and told us, he said, watch, three or four news outlets showed up on that day the church burned down, and they were all interviewing me, whatever. And God told me this: since you have the world's attention, show them how to respond to fire. So I preached a crazy message entitled Fireworks. Crazy part about it was 4th of July, that coming Sunday, and I preached fireworks. And it took a moment for the church to catch it. They was like, fireworks, fireworks, Pastor, that's crazy. I'm telling you, lose well, because how you lose can determine how well you win next. How well you lose determine how well you win next. And I'm telling you, on that parking lot, I gave that thing up to God and said, God, if you allow this to happen, then I know you got something bigger and better in store for me. And I'm trying to tell you, he has something bigger and better right around the corner from it. Literally. Lose well. Number 8. Here it is. Make a statement. Top 10 things we learned in 10 years. Number 8. Make a statement. If moving in silence was a person, it would be me. If moving in silence was a person, it's me. However, I have learned the power of making a statement. So after we lost that church, I'm riding around in the downtown area because I knew that God had called us to downtown. So I'm riding around in the downtown area looking for a building, right? And I rolled upon this building, this space that I saw, and it was already a church, but it didn't look like a church. But it was already a church. It was being used for a church. And I spotted that location, and I said, ooh, I want that. I spotted what I wanted. I didn't just spot what I wanted. I literally said what I wanted. I saw it, then I said it. I said, God, I'm not trying to put nobody out the church. I promise you, I know it's probably somebody in there that's using it. I'm not trying to put them out of it, but God, I ain't gonna lie to you. I want that building. Be careful what you ask for. I want that building. And I'm telling you, in 2 months' time, my wife called me one day and said, babe, you wouldn't believe what's available. I said, what's available? That building that you won't stop talking about. I was like, wow. I spotted it. I said it. And watch this. We moved into that building. Here's what the church did not know. When we moved into this building that we're currently in, well, we didn't sign papers on this building for maybe 2 to 3 months. We were in this building before it was even official. And while we were waiting on it to become official, with no real promise that it was, just a word, I'm telling you, man, I know it's going to sound crazy. I started painting. I started redecorating it. I started redesigning it. I'm talking about, man, we did a reconstruction in this joint. I'm telling you, I'm talking about, man, we redesigned everything. I'm talking about I was treating it like it was mine before it was mine. There are times in your life where you have to make a statement. See what you want, say what you want, and watch this, stand on what you want. I'm not just talking about, I'm not just talking audibly. I'm also talking about having the audacity to walk in authority. We said what we wanted. We saw what we wanted. We said what we wanted, and then we stood on it. We believed God for it before it was official. That's crazy faith there. Sometimes, man, your faith has to make a statement. Not just audibly. Yes, audibly. Not just audibly, but also with the ability to walk in authority, the audacity to walk in authority. We had the audacity to stamp this building before it was officially ours. There are times in your life, man of God, woman of God, that you are going to have to make a statement. Yeah, this is good. Number 9, we're almost there. Number 9, learn to be content, but never become complacent. Learn to be content, but never become complacent. What do I mean by that? Man, stay hungry. Stay hungry. It was a great Kobe Bryant who said, and I quote, he said, man, winning didn't satisfy me. It turned me up. I'm telling you, in a sense, I'm the same way. When we began to see some success and we got this building and it was going good, and I'm talking about people started coming, and you know, it was up, right? It was up. Man, I'm telling you, the issue that I was having with our people is that they had been accustomed to set up and tear down. They had been accustomed to our previous situation. And what I could do, I could feel them kind of exhaling, like, man, we finally, no, this ain't no exhale time. This is turn it up time. This is get back in the lab. This is get back in the gym, man. Stay hungry. Listen, I'm content with this, but I'll be the first to tell you that this is not it. I am content with this, but I'm not at all comfortable staying here. This is cool, but this is not what God showed me. I'm still believing him for bigger and better. But until such time, I'm going to steward this place crazy. I'm going to treat it like it's my promised land, even though this is just a stop. This is a stop on the way, but I'm treating it like it's a promised land. Learn to be content, but never become complacent. Never become too comfortable with your wins or your losses. Stay hungry. Get back in the lab. Don't let your last success be your last success. Find something else to get better at. What you do well is cool, but what don't you do well? Make that better. Get better with what you don't do well. Turn up what you do well. Get back in the lab, man. Get back in the gym. Find a way to continually bring every off season. You should come back with a different tool, with a different weapon. It's okay to be content with what you have. Just don't become complacent. Number 10, and we out of here. Number 10, top 10 things that I've learned in 10 years. Here it is. Bet big. Bet big. We talk a whole lot about thinking big or believing big, but thinking big and believing big don't mean anything if you don't bet big. Let me put it to you in street terms. Scared money don't make money. There are sometimes, man, you got to take all your chips and push it to the middle of the table and bet on you. There are times in your life where you're going to have to put all your chips in the table and bet on you. Bet big. It's not enough to just say, hey, man, I think big, or I dream big, or I'm believing God for big. Man, if you ain't acting on that, what we doing? Trying to tell you. I walked away. I walked away from another kind of career job when I began to just do this full time. I walked away from another career job because I felt like in this season, I need to bet on me. Yeah, I need to bet on me. It was scary. I'm not gonna lie to you. It was scary. It comes with some thoughts of failing and what am I giving up? But at some point, man, you got to put all your chips on the table and push them to the middle and say, man, I'm betting on me. We launched 2 services, and that was kind of scary because in some sense, we can kind of control things. You can kind of control your narrative. You can control what you can do, what you can't do. But there are some things, man, that's going to be too big for you. That it's going to take the power of God to do it. That's betting big. If the thing that you want to do is something that you can do all by yourself, you're not betting big. Betting big is when it's bigger than you. And if God's going to fill this sanctuary 2 times in one Sunday, I can't necessarily control that. But God can. But I'm putting all my chips on the table. Say, God, I'm believing you for that. And I'm gonna bet big on it. We're gonna throw the kitchen sink at it. We're gonna throw everything we got at it. Swing for the fences. And sometimes you're gonna swing and miss. Sometimes you're gonna swing and knock it out the park. But you will never knock it out the park if you don't take the shot. You will never knock it out the park if you don't swing with everything that's in you. Man, bet big. Top 10 things we've learned in 10 years. Those are my top 10. Let me run them back. Support will be nice, but support is not necessary. Number 2, the principle of process. Number 3, define roles and responsibilities. Number 4, man of God, woman of God, it is your job. Take the shot yourself. Number 5, redefine success. Number 6, release in order to receive. Number 7, lose well. Number 8, make a statement. Number 9, learn to be content but never complacent. Number 10, bet big. Now, I hope this helps somebody in some way, shape, form, or fashion. These are the top 10 things I've learned in 10 years. This Sunday, we're celebrating 10 years. Pastor David Connor, Dr. David Connor, my brother, will be here with a crazy word. I'm inviting you all to come and hang out with us Sunday, 10:45, 340 South 2nd Street. It's going down. 10 years, a decade of redemption. We started with nothing, but look at what God is doing. And I'm telling you, if he did it for me, he can do it for you. So I hope we see you here Sunday, 10:45, 10 years of redemption. We'll see you real soon. Pastor Devin is out. Peace.